as it was being administered, it's an IV drip. So as I felt it going into my arm, it felt kind of cold. And I was wondering like if the nurse had like refrigerated it. So by the time I like looked up at the nurse, got her attention, asked her if it was refrigerated. It's like, this is really cold feeling. It went up to my arm and I started like chattering. Like I was like, oh, it's freezing in here. Like I'm cold. And then I threw up. So there was something going on, like it was rejecting it. And basically they had said it was like, they're calling it the rigors. It's not a seizure, but I started chattering at one point, like, so, like, it was crazy. Like, I didn't know there was that strength in my jaw. I almost bit through my tongue. And then they gave me Demerol, and that immediately um, calmed it down. I wasn't feeling nauseous or anything. It was just like the one time, the one throw up, and then like the chattering was just like keeping me, like it just keeps going until you get something that like relaxes you. Um, Interesting experience. Then I got on Entyvio, so I couldn't get back on Remicade, obviously. And Entyvio was all right. That's another what do they call it? Biologic. And it was like an infusion, and it helped, I think, a little bit. I think maybe I still flared while on it, but I might have been able to skip a year. So I didn't flare every year because I had started flaring every other year. And then with Remicade, I think I was able to avoid a flare, go like 2.5 years. And then I started flaring every year. So over the last 11 years, I've had, I mean, it might amount to like 5 flares. Okay, so I got back on Entyvio. I did flare again on that. Same thing with my hair. It fell out, and I think the timing again made it seem like Entyvio had something to do with the hair falling out. But it was just a reaction to the actual flare. Maybe I'll get to prednisone now. So prednisone side effects, they call this the devil drug. This is like never fun. Even if you have to be on it for like a month. I know some people take it for a week or whatever. I had gotten lip injections, and the doctor was like, oh, if it swells, take prednisone. I was like, really? He's like, you want to give that to me for a week? He's like, yeah, I do it all the time. He's like, oh, come on. This stuff is gnarly. Okay. It's a steroid. If you take it for like over a month, it really starts to like mess with your circadian rhythm. Your sleep cycles will, like, you might not sleep at all. It's not that you won't have a cycle, you'll just be up. And then some people get acne, but my skin looked really good on it. And then it's because it's a steroid, it's like it'll affect your personality, your emotions, like just I was like the worst person on it, just always on edge. And I mean, it's roid rage. You just, man, it almost feels like PMS times 10, to the 10th power. And then let's see, with prednisone, I never had hair loss or anything else, physically, like in terms of my looks, other than like what I mentioned with the skin. Like my skin did look better. I will say it looked like my teeth were like becoming thinner or less denser, because I know prednisone will leach calcium out of your bones. So you have to, when you research the drugs you're taking, like research the stuff that you need to supplement. So what's it doing to your body? For example, like my dad takes I think his blood pressure medication, and that lowers his ubiquinol or coenzyme Q10, same type of molecule. So I make him take that every day to supplement it. Anyways, so back to prednisone. You might want to take calcium. You want to get as much sun as you can, and if you're in the hospital, this is going to suck. The sun, vitamin D, calcium, they all go hand in hand. So I don't know. Research that and do that for yourself. I mean, I took some calcium, but I still saw some like it looked like grain in my teeth. Like it looked like they were like gray, and just not as white, and then like kind of like starting to be see through, and that's what scared me because then I was like, oh, if this is what prednisone is doing to my teeth, then I'm kind of worried about my bones. Also I'll mention a couple times it felt like prednisone made my bones actually feel like a bruise. So if I massage my face, which I do a lot, and I was on prednisone, doing just like, you know, the lightest touch ever would feel like, oh wow, my face really feels like it got like punched. It's really weird. Prednisone will also, this is a big thing, displace the fat in your body to your cheeks. So you'll have like chipmunk cheeks. And like, even though like maybe I didn't look like too chipmunky with the fat displace, I might have even looked younger because I just like had more of like a plump face. But like, some people it's like I know a family member who took prednisone for a long time and it created just like a rounding, and that's not his face shape. It was just crazy. So it's all temporary though. The fat will move back wherever it came from after you get off prednisone, and your face goes back to normal. Like I just had a photo shoot and the pictures turned out great, but if you saw me 4 months ago when I was on prednisone, my face looked bloated and my body was like, I had no body. I was 90 pounds. My dad said I had to run around in the shower to get wet, which is accurate. Funny but true, I guess. Anyways, maybe I can cut this video here, because I think I've talked about all the side effects that I have had with the medications. Right now I'm on Stelara and I am kind of having like lung congestion, and I'm taking a respiratory cleanse which has N-acetylcysteine in it. This is a compound they're recommending for COVID and all these other things, Alzheimer's. So N-acetylcysteine, it's a natural supplement. Look into it. If you get on Stelara and you find that it's giving you that kind of, it just feels like phlegm, and I'm like always kind of like, like hacking. It's not cute. But anyways, what the heck is wrong with my hair? So if you have similar experiences, I'd like to know any of these drugs, any of the other drugs you've taken. I touched on all the big side effects I've had that were scary and that people aren't told about. The doctors aren't really like looking at like, oh, well, like the doctor didn't prescribe my dad ubiquinol or coenzyme Q10, right? So these things we have to kind of research ourselves, and definitely read your insert for Stelara if you are taking it, because as I mentioned in a different video, I read mine and it does have some warnings about vaccinations and if you live with a family member who's received any live vaccine. So obviously it's like read all the paperwork that comes with the stuff that you're putting in your body, especially with medications, and if it's like the last one that is available to you. So like for me, I have no other choice but to take Stelara, and I hope it works. And I think other than the lung congestion, I haven't had any side effects that like the locking up of the joints that Liata had caused. So there's nothing that's telling me this isn't working for you. You got to get off of this, right? And my hair is growing back in. So after having lost it 3 times to telogenic effluvium, it's finally growing back, but you can see how maybe it's still like very, very fine at the bottom. And like, it's thicker up in here because that's like the new growth. Anyways, I'm excited to have hair back because it's been a very long time. All right. Have a great night.